Good morning, everyone. This is Debbie with the Uptown Bug. I'm making videos as I go along in my eBay business. So when I run across an issue that is something I need to learn about, I figure there's lots of you out there that also need to learn about it. So I'm making videos as I go, and hopefully some of this will help you out. All right, I'm going to share my screen. This is information on social media. Um, I am just starting on social media. I'm not that great at it yet, but some of you haven't started at all. So in preparation for doing it, you need to open a Twitter account, which is twitter.com, and a Pinterest account, which is pinterest.com. I would suggest that you do it with your store name or a variation of your store name, and use your business email address, whatever address you're using for your eBay business or your Amazon business, Etsy business, Mercari, whatever you use. So if you need to, put this on hold, set up a Twitter account, set up a Pinterest account. All right, so I am a newbie, and I'm going to make this for my level of understanding on the social media. I belong to several eBay and reseller related groups on Facebook, and so I use those. I have one that I belong to that's specifically for social media sharing, and people share their listings onto it, so that makes it really easy. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you've got a Twitter account and a Pinterest account set up. So here is my Twitter account. You can tell it's fairly new. I only have 128 tweets. I'm following 249, and I have 194 following me. This number of my followers would be considerably smaller if I didn't belong to the social media group on Facebook for eBay. So anyway, I'll show you what I did and how I grew it. Okay, so you've got your Twitter account set up. You can set up a banner for your site. You can add your logo. Hopefully you've got a logo. If not, this can be a picture of you. It can be a picture of an item. It could be almost anything you want. I recently rebranded my eBay store, so I went with a new name and a new logo. So I'm the Uptown Bug, and that cute little ladybug is my logo. I did that because it makes it easy and recognizable to share it both on social media, on Facebook, doing these videos. Hopefully you'll keep it nice and simple. The simpler it is, the easier it is to recognize. And you should do something that kind of pertains to the wording of your store name. If you can't get your store name, say that your eBay store name is, I don't know, junk in the trunk. And so you go to set up your account and you find that junk in the trunk is taken. So you could shorten it up to something that kind of says the same thing but is a little bit abbreviated. So you could do junk trunk. You could do, I don't know, junk. Just do junk. I mean, you have to be creative and think of different ways that you can abbreviate your name. You could do JNK in the trunk for junk in the trunk. You could do JNK TRNK for junk in the trunk. So you have to, if your name is a fairly common name or if it's a name that's taken, you're going to have to be creative on abbreviating them. I mean, and when you think of abbreviations, think about how people abbreviate for license plates and things like that. Like the word later could be L, the number 8, and an R. It's later. So you may have to get creative on both Pinterest and Twitter. but I would keep at it, checking names out. Like if you type in a name, it'll tell you if it's taken or not, or it might give you suggestions on what to use. But I would suggest that it's easier if your Twitter handle and your Pinterest handle are the same. So, keep trying different combinations until you can find one that's available on both platforms. Okay, so we've got our Twitter account set up. The thing as a newbie that I didn't really understand about Twitter is once you're following people and you've got followers, when you do a tweet, if you upload a tweet and you go back 5 minutes and later and look at it, there's going to be 30 or 40 or 300 tweets above yours. They kind of tend to disappear because there's so many being uploaded all at once. So that to me is a bit of a drawback. But okay, so if you go, sorry, I have to play with this a little bit. I'm not super familiar with sharing my screen. Okay, so this is one of my listings. If you go to your listing, you can hit over here. There's an email button, Facebook button, Twitter button, and a Pinterest button. So for now, we'll just do Pinterest. So say that I've just listed this jacket. I'm going to hit the Twitter button, and it populates with the whole link to my listing. So it says, check out Lee, Storm Rider, World Pro, Chuck Wagon, Tour Denim Coat, Vintage Jeans, Blanket Line, 42 Lee. It's got the eBay address, and then it says at the end, via at eBay. So you can add another hashtag at the back. Sometimes I delete, if there's only, you can see there's 12 spaces left. So you're limited to the number of spaces. So it's spaces and letters are all counted. I think it's 140, I'm not sure. But there's only 12 left, and that doesn't seem like much room. So I'm going to delete where it says checkout. So that gives me 22 spaces. I'm going to delete the word via because if it has at eBay on the end, that already references eBay. So I'm going to think of some hashtags. Now, a hashtag is always preceded by the pound sign. Young people seem to know this intuitively. It was a big learning curve for me because this is not my thing. Anyway, so we're going to precede it with the pound sign, which is the hashtag sign. And I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to put, like, for these jackets, Storm Rider is a common term. So I'm going to put Storm Rider. And this is not case sensitive. I just like to capitalize the letters of new words that are strung together, just so it's easier to read. So we've got hashtag Storm Rider. And I'm going to, vintage is a popular tag, so I'm going to put hashtag vintage. Okay, so I still got 6 spaces left. That's not really a lot. So I'm going to hit tweet. And now when we go to Twitter and my tweets, it shows up here. So Lee Storm Rider gives all the information. It gives the beginning of what my description is on the listing, which is nice, and a copy of the picture. So you should be doing that with every one of your new listings. You should be tweeting and pinning every new listing. They're not really going anywhere yet because you haven't developed a following and you're not following anybody yet. We'll do that in a second. But anyway, for now, just think that you need to tweet every single new listing. If I go back to home, or I go to, let's say I go to the people I'm following. So these are all people I'm following. So I can look at any one of these randomly. Let's just pick one. I'll pick Freddie. Freddie finds on eBay. So I'm going to go to Freddie, and I'm going to look at Freddie's pins. Now, look at this. This is a great set of vintage miniature Christmas ball ornaments. You can comment on it or reply to it if you look underneath each tweet. This little double arrow symbol means it's retweeted. This is one you like, and this is if you want to message them. So I really like this, and so I want to put that on my Twitter feed, which is what your list of tweets is called. And so I'm going to hit this button. See how retweet pops up there? So I hit that. I can add a comment. I'm going to say love vintage. Oops. And I'm going to tweet it. Okay, so now when I go back and I look at my tweets, you're going to see, it takes a minute to populate the picture, that my comment is there. Oh, I misspelled vintage. Damn, wasn't paying attention. And it's got a copy of Freddie's listings. Okay, so that's how you get tweets onto your Twitter feed. Now, to get, if you follow people, quite often people will follow you back. So I'm following 249, and as I said, that number is only that high because it's people that are on the social media group that I belong to on Facebook that's for eBay. I've got 194 followers, and those are for the same reasons. Those people are all on the list. So if you can find, you're welcome to go to mine. Mine is twitter.com/uptownbug. You can go to, say that you've come to my Twitter feed and you want to look at my followers. I can tell you that every one of my followers and everyone I'm following is all resellers, people that are into vintage, people that sell on anything from eBay to Etsy to Mercari to Poshmark. So it's all people that have interests similar to mine. And you see that some of these say following. Those are ones that I'm already following. But look at these ones that say follow. And you'll notice that the background on this capsule is not dark green. That's people that I'm not following. So look, here's someone, vintage is better than modern anything. I can follow her. Here's a reseller. I can follow her. Here's wife, mom, Etsy, and eBay shop owner. Follow her. Here's another seller. So once you've followed a few, then it'll start populating this kind of stuff for you, and it'll make it easy. But anyway, you're going to go to my followers. These are all people that are following me, and you can click follow. A lot of them will follow you back within a day or two, so you can start to build up your list. I call it farming. I'm going out, I'm looking, I'm growing my farm of followers and the ones that I'm following, and trying to kind of grow the reach. Here, China painting and vintage, social media, Instagram. Some of these, here's an Etsy reseller. I would follow that. Some of these people are trolling. They're people that have businesses that do social media for you and stuff like that. Anyway, so I would be a little bit careful and make sure that the people you're following are people that have similar interests to you. Okay, that's enough for now. So anyway, you can see that that it's pretty easy to follow and get followers. The more people you build up in this as followers, the more people are going to see each of your tweets. by the same token, I didn't really understand the social media platforms, and I thought that people would only see my listings that I posted on here if they happened across it. What I didn't realize is that the hashtags, so you put the pound symbol and then a descriptive word, those hashtags are searchable, which means that people, like say you've got a lot of Christmas ornaments in and you put hashtag Christmas. If you go up here and you search Twitter, there it is. You would type in the hashtag, the word that you want. So hashtag Christmas is there because I've obviously searched before. I'm going to hit hashtag Christmas. Everything that's got the hashtag Christmas is going to show up in this Twitter feed. Look at this. Hashtag Christmas. Hashtag Christmas. Hashtag Christmas. So I don't because I'm old, but young people search these hashtags to look for things that they're trying to find. It can either be stuff that interests them, stuff that they want to buy. Look at this dress. How kick-ass is that? Glances back vintage. Wow, I really like that dress. Oh, and look, I'm following her. Okay. So anyway, the hashtags drive people to your Twitter feed. Your Twitter feed has your listings, and other people can search your listings based on the hashtags that you have. So I think, excuse me, I think of the hashtags as like pieces of a roadmap that, or breadcrumbs that lead somebody back to my Twitter feed. So if you have 100 followers, you send out a tweet, your 100 followers will get it. If it's something that interests them and they retweet it, then every one of their followers sees it. If one of their followers sees it and really likes it and retweets it, then you can see how exponentially, by putting one tweet out, thousands of people can see your image. And you should notice on your eBay listings, you should notice the number of views going up, and really growing because you've just increased your visibility immensely. And this is free. It doesn't cost you anything. Okay, so now let's go to Pinterest. I did not know Pinterest at all till about 3 weeks ago. But I'm finding that I really, really like it, and I actually prefer it to Twitter. Twitter, once you get a number of people following you and you're following a number of people, you get so many tweets in your feed that, like I said, you know, you can make a tweet, come back half an hour later, and there's going to be 300 on there, and you can't even find yours anymore unless you go to the icon that shows your specific tweets. Pinterest is different because it's got what are called boards. So if you look at mine, eBay Reseller Online, that's the eBay social media group I belong to. And as I pin items off of this group, I pin them and I make new categories so that they're easier to find. This one is called Winter is Coming, and I've got a couple of sweaters on it. Jeans, I've got vintage blue gold. So these names of these categories are things that I've created. So you can click Create Board. Say you're into Wedgwood China. Create a board. Try to think of a little bit of a creative name that might entice people to have a look at it. But make it clear that it's Wedgwood China. Then other people that are into Wedgwood can search boards, find your Wedgwood board, look at it, and if you've got 10 things in there and one of them, just happens to be one of your listings, then people can click on them and it'll take them places. So I'm going to show you here, eBay, the reseller online community. Okay. These are not my listings. These are other people's listings. So just say, for example, I'm looking at this board, and oh, look, I see this cute Minnie Mouse Christmas stocking. I can click on that. It shows it to me. I can save it. If I click save, it'll let me put it to my board. So I'm going to choose Christmas all year. I see it's $14.99. It's for sale on eBay. Now, if you go underneath the picture, look at there. It says sold by ebay.com, and I can click visit, and it will take me directly to that person's listing. How cool is that? So if your listings are on there, guess what? You've just increased your reach again. Now, let me go back and find a different one because I already went through that one. Okay. Oh, look, here's a cute pair of steampunk glasses. Okay, so I'm looking at these. I don't have a steampunk category on my board, but it might not be a bad idea. So I'm going to hit save. At the bottom here, it says create board. And I'm going to, I'm going to make a board. See, it says name. I'm going to make it say steampunk. I never want it to be secret because I want people to be able to see it. Now, something else that I didn't touch on, and it took me forever to figure this out. I don't know why. See this little pencil underneath the picture? Click on that pencil, and you can see that you can now edit it. So vintage Wilson safety glasses, steampunk aviator, driving glasses, industrial. So she's got steampunk in her title, but it's not, there's no hashtag steampunk. So I can add hashtags here. So I'm going to add a hashtag steampunk. And look what pops up. With hashtag steampunk, there's over 4,000 things pinned. Steampunk art, 309 pins. Steampunk style, 290 pins. So when I type in steampunk, I can choose any one of these. But this is generic steampunk, and there's over 4,000 pins here. So I'm going to choose that one. And I can create that board. Now this helps you if you're going to pin something of your own. Okay, let me go to my eBay. So now I'm on the same listing. I've just done my listing, finished it. I already tweeted it. We did that already, remember? I'm going to pin it. And let's see what pops up. Okay, Lee Storm Rider World Pro Chuckwagon Tour Denim Coat Vintage. Okay, so it automatically populated it with Lee and casual. I don't really like that casual, so I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm going to put hashtag Storm Rider. Okay, no hashtags. You notice underneath there, none of these hashtags have popped up. So that one's not really going to do me a lot of good. Although I could leave it in there. I'm going to do hashtag vintage. Now this is a Chuckwagon jacket. So I'm going to, let's see if I put Chuckwagon. Oh, look. Well, there's only 7 pins, but let's go with it. How about rodeo? Oh, 1,166 pins, so that's getting better. So you can go in, you can, when you pin it, you can add a few hashtags. And now I'm going to put this under, well, I could put it under a couple of different things. I've got winter is coming, which, well, I'm not going to put it there because that's where I put sweaters. But I have jeans, vintage blue gold. I'm going to put it there. It's vintage, it's blue jean. I'm going to put it there. So now we can go to Pinterest. I can look at my vintage blue gold, and there it is, Lee Stormrider, and it's got all of my pins on it. So remember, these pins, people are searching for pins. They're searching for things they want. They're putting hashtag vintage, hashtag Lee, whatever. They're searching for things with these pins. You could do the same thing. And so if somebody searched hashtag Lee, hashtag vintage, mine is going to show up. Then they can click on it. They can go down. They can visit it on the web page. And there it is. There it is on eBay. So you see how that would help drive people to your site. With the Pinterest boards, the same as on Twitter, you want to put a little bit of branding on here. Like, you know, if you only have your picture, put that here for now where my bug is. Regardless of what your Twitter handle is, say that you did junk in the trunk and you couldn't get the whole thing exact, but you got JNK, for junk in the trunk. That doesn't mean that you can't name this with your full junk in the trunk name. Your Twitter handle is abbreviated. That doesn't mean that this store name on this or on Twitter needs to be abbreviated. You can put the full name. My on Pinterest, it's the Uptown Bug. On Twitter, it's just Uptown Bug. But I still am going to use my full name, my store logo here. So we're looking at my boards. We can look at my pins individually. I find that a confusing way to look at them. So as you find things that interest you online, it doesn't have to be business related. You can, in order to not be kind of all 100% business 100% of the time, and to show on your Pinterest board that you're kind of well-rounded, I would suggest that you put some things that interest you personally. I'm into Australian Shepherds, so I have an Australian Shepherd board. I love Japanese indigo, so I've got an indigo board. I love Hawaiian shirts. I just bought a silhouette cameo, so I've got that. I've got, this one's called Research It, and if you look at this, it's identifying stones used in costume jewelry. So you can pin web pages. I mean, once you're clued into it and you're online, start looking around. You can pin and tweet almost anything. The little links will be on the web page somewhere. So put a few of your personal interests in here, put some business stuff in there. I like vintage, I love shoes. And as I'm pinning things from the eBay Rock team, the social media group that I belong to, I'm dividing them up into these categories or these boards. Think of them as file folders. So I'm developing more boards all the time. Also, if you go to someone else's, let's see, I get 42 followers. Let's look at someone there. I'm sorry if your name is on here and I didn't ask permission, but anyway, so these are mine. These are mine. So I can pick any one of these. Let's see. Okay, how about Robin? So I'm going to pick Robin's, and I'm going to look at her boards, and I can follow or unfollow any of her boards. Look, craft ideas. Go to craft ideas, and I can like this board. Let me see. I don't know what this button is. Let's see it. Send it to, no, that's nothing. Anyway, so I can like any of these things on our board, and as soon as I figure it out, I'm going to do it. I think that you can like people's whole boards. So you would have to check that out. And if you go to someone's page and there's some stuff there that you're not really interested in, even though you're following them, you can unfollow some of their boards. You know, like baby crafting ideas doesn't really interest me, so I could unfollow that or refollow it. So anyway, that gives you an idea on how to get started. Make sure that you put a little blurb on there. I put a link to my whole eBay store in the information, which is under settings. And I put my location. I put, you know, just a little blurb about me. I don't know what tried is. Pins that you try live here. Anyway, so there's lots to be figured out. I am just starting on my journey to do this. But hopefully this little video will get you started as well. Now, if you're on Facebook, like on a reseller page, and people are able to share their links there, start tweeting and pinning some of their links, and you'll start building your followers. Farm your followers on Pinterest and Twitter by going to other people's tweet feeds and Twitter feeds and Pinterest boards. And if you spend 15 minutes to half an hour on this every day, the reach for your listings, as far as people actually seeing it, is going to be in the thousands and thousands and thousands. I just got started, like I said, 3 or 4 weeks ago. I have things that I have listed and within an hour sold them. I have other things that I had listed for 6 months that I tweeted them and sold them the same evening. It can't be a coincidence. More people are seeing my things. More people are being driven to my store, and they can be driven to your store too. I'd like to help you. If you have any comments or questions, you can post them underneath, and hopefully this will get you started on social media. Awesome. Have a fantastic day. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.